How's it going, everyone? In this video, we are going to discuss the possibility of Ram bringing back the Dakota. And to do that, we're also going to take a look at some of our viewers' personal Dodge Dakotas in this episode of Dude, I Love or Hate My New Ride Home Edition. Now, we don't actually have specific details of what a new Dodge Dakota might look like, but we do know that Ram has wanted to bring back the Dakota for a while now because mid-sized trucks have become popular again, and they have a great platform that they could base another truck on with the Gladiator. What's really exciting about the possibility of a new Dakota is the fact that in the past, there was a great history of performance variants of the Dodge Dakota, which means FCA could end up making a high-performance version of it because we know that they like to do that with a lot of their modern cars. Think of the SRT Grand Cherokee. The Trackhawk, the upcoming TRX, it's entirely possible that if they make a Dodge Dakota sometime in the near future, that there could be a high-performance version of it. And to get an idea of what something like that could look like, let's go through the history of the Dodge Dakota and some of its performance variants. The first generation Dodge Dakota lasted from the model years 1987 to 1996, and when the truck was designed, Chrysler was in a pretty bad way financially, so they ended up using a lot of parts bin parts. But the truck could be had with a 3.9-liter V6 and a 5-speed manual, which would have been a pretty potent combination in such a small vehicle. Just because they were making these trucks with parts bin parts doesn't mean that they skimped out on the fun, because in 1989 they actually came out with a Dodge Dakota convertible. It had a roll bar in the back and a manual folding down soft top so that you could actually have a convertible pickup truck. And in that same year, they also had a Shelby version of the truck with a 5.2-liter V8 making 175 horsepower and 270 foot-pounds of torque, also with a limited slip differential. So that was a pretty cool version of this truck and the first performance variant of the Dodge Dakota, but it wouldn't be the last. The second generation Dodge Dakota was produced from model years 1997 to 2004, and the most exciting addition to the second generation truck was the RT model that had a 5.9-liter V8 making 250 horsepower and 345 foot-pounds of torque. These were only available with a 4-speed automatic, but they did also have a limited slip, and they even came with upgraded brakes, upgraded suspension, and upgraded steering. So it wasn't just an appearance kit and it wasn't just some extra power. They legitimately made the truck a lot more high performance in terms of the way that it drove and especially the way that it handled. Though we don't have any viewer submissions of a first generation Dakota, we do have a submission of a second generation. So here's Ron with his 2001 Dodge Dakota.
Hey guys, my name is Ron Lara. I'm from Kensington, Maryland, and this is my 2001 Dodge Dakota pickup truck. This truck I actually purchased in Salt Lake City, Utah. I've been looking for a Dakota and on and off for a couple years. Just looking for a good sized truck, mid-size, a little bit bigger than the Ranger, a little bigger than the S10, but not a full-size truck. One big problem with the Dodges is they rust and their paint peels off, as I'll show you. But they rust, so it's really hard to find one. This one was in Salt Lake City, Utah, had about 95,000 miles on it, and they wanted $3,007 for it. Asked the guy why it was so cheap. He said it's a two-wheel drive. No one wants it. So I hopped on a plane, one-way ticket, flew out to Salt Lake City, Utah, and purchased my truck. Took it around the block, didn't burn oil. Engine sounded good, shifted well, so drove it 2,100 miles home. Stopped in the truck and drove, made it all the way, not a problem. The passenger side window did fall out of track, but a guy at the hotel helped me put it back in. But anyway, love this truck. They tend to rust. This one doesn't have any. So that was why I had to go to Salt Lake City to get it. Now, as you see, this is a regular cab. Problem with the regular cab is I'm 6 foot tall. I fit in it, but you either get leg room or you get to recline. You don't get both. So I'll show you the inside. Here it is. I got a little bit of recline, a little bit of leg room. Hey, I drove it 2,100 miles. I was perfectly comfortable. Be nice to be able to go back a little farther, but it is what it is. So here's the 5-speed manual transmission. Wish it had a 6-speed. But this thing comes with all the bells and whistles. I mean, this thing's loaded. Power windows, power locks, and with the V8, this thing actually moves pretty good. 4.7 liter, 235 horsepower, and I believe 295 foot-pounds of torque. I could be wrong, but there it is. Just realized my engine bay is a little dirty, but 4.7 liter. My Dodge I had back in 98 had the 5.2. This is a lot faster. This thing revs up. This thing screams. I have a friend of mine who had the 4.7. He had a Dodge Dakota 2-wheel drive extra cab, and he put 360,000 miles on that engine before it blew up, but 360,000 miles. That's pretty good. Even though the bed was in fantastic shape, I got it bed lined, and I want to use the truck. So I actually spent 20% of the value of the truck to get the bed liner put in. But I think it's fantastic. I throw a lot of concrete in there from time to time. Love the V8, love the manual. I mean, I would like to have a little bit more room to recline, but besides that, it's a fantastic truck. I love it, and I plan on keeping it forever. So that's it. So for more news, views, and real world Dodge Dakota reviews, come back to TFL Truck. All right, guys, thanks a lot. Take care. Bye.
Ron, you took my line. I have to say, I really like your truck. It's especially cool to see that it has that 5-speed manual and a V8. I'll bet it's a ton of fun to drive with that combination. Also sounds like you got it at a great price. I would have paid that for a truck like that any day. Also fun to see the bright red. It's a cool color. It would be nice if that hood paint was in a little bit better shape. That's always something that can be fixed. But if I had to give it a rating, I would give it a 7 or 8 out of 10 just because of that paint. Otherwise, it's an awesome truck. You've also got a very cool looking Jeep and a Challenger in the background there. I wouldn't hate to see video of either of those as well. The 3rd generation Dodge Dakota went from 2005 to 2011, and it shared a platform with the Durango SUV just as the 1st generation Dakota had. And some of these early Dakotas from the 3rd generation were offered with a 6-speed manual, but the same attention wasn't paid to a high-performance variant in this generation of the truck, and as smaller trucks became less popular, it was eventually discontinued in 2011, which is the last that we've seen any Dakotas. Next up, we have Victor with his 2006 Dodge Dakota. Let's check it out.
Good morning, TFL. My name is Victor, and today I have my 2006 Dodge Dakota SLT with a 4.7 V8. To begin with, I've pretty much had Dodge Dakotas my entire driving life. Before then, I had my grandfather's 97 Dodge Dakota short single cab. It was great truck, loved that thing. Went 310,000 miles, but unfortunately a drunk driver ran into it and killed it. But this one, I haven't had any problems with it. I've really grown to love this truck over the past 8 years since I bought it from CarMax. Overall, I really like the 3rd gen. It did make a lot of significant improvements over the 2nd gen, to be honest. Mechanically and structurally, it's a lot stronger as well. As far as looks, I know a lot of people don't really like the looks of a third gen, but to be honest, it's just fine, and over time the looks do grow on you. Inside we have a split bench seat, pretty basic, pretty much sticking to the old school train of thought. So I'll go ahead and give you guys a start up so you can listen to the 4.7. Got that old exhaust manifold leak from Dodge. It's well known for it. I'm going to have to get that fixed at some point. I haven't done too much with the engine other than basic maintenance. Hasn't really given me any trouble at all. Just done oil changes, done the hoses, and of course the PCV valve as well. It's actually a very generous bed. It's a 6'6" bed. The tool chest came with the truck, and I've actually been able to fit a pallet of bricks between the wheel wells easily. To be honest, it's more in line with what full-size standard truck was back in the 80s, like an old D100 or D150 short bed. It's a very generous sized truck in the rear.
I've upgraded the timber and suspension to timber and suspension, so it helps with preventing bottoming out, you know, going over rough roads or when you're towing. It has a 355 rear end, and I've been able to tow 7,000 pounds easily with this truck, which is well within its means and capability. So that'll pretty much sum it up for me. Thank you for giving me the chance to show you my truck. I hope you have a good day. Take care.
Well, thank you for sending in your truck, Victor. And I can't believe that your previous Dakota had 310,000 miles on it. That's pretty impressive, and sad to hear that it had to go out that way, but I'm glad you've got yourself a nice, even newer truck that looks to be in really good condition. It seems like just a simple, no frills work truck, and that V8, I'm sure, has no problem motivating it. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 6 out of 10 because it's just a good work truck, and I'm sure it'll last you for a long time. Thanks again for sending it in. Though the Dakota is not in production, it seems likely that we may get another one soon, and we would have a lot to look forward to there because there is this great history of high-performance Dodge Dakotas, and FCA has plenty of performance parts that they could potentially throw at one of those, as well as a lot of great Ram interior parts that could potentially combine for arguably the best mid-size truck on the market. Whether or not that happens remains to be seen. If you have any special Dodge Dakotas back home that you'd like to send us, please do, and here's Tommy to show you exactly how you can do that.
Hey, thank you for sending us your video here to TFL Studios so we can make it famous on Dude I Love My Ride Home Edition. Well, we noticed that a lot of people had some issues sending us files because emails are just not suitable for video. However, we do have a much better solution. It's a file service called WeTransfer, and WeTransfer is a way you can securely and safely and freely, we should say, send us your video files. That way the quality's better and there's no issues going down the road. So here's how you do it. If you're planning on using your cell phone to upload the files, like I think many of you will be, all you have to do is open up your browser, and this works both on Apple and Android, and type in tflstudios.wetransfer.com and then hit enter. Now it will take you to this page, and you'll see a big button that says send a file. Click that and then tap I agree, and it'll give you a plus arrow where you can actually add your files. Add up to 20 gigabytes. So click that. I'm going to say photo library, videos, and then I'm going to select my video and hit done. So there you can see your video is added. In the message section, please add your name and your truck. So in this case, it'll be Tommy Micah, and the truck or car or whatever lawnmower is 2020 Nissan Titan, just so we know what's coming our way. And then click next. And then you plug in your own personal email. And what it'll do is send you a verification just to make sure you're a real person and not a robot, and click transfer. So it says verify your email. Go ahead and check your email and you'll see a code. And then go ahead and plug in your verification code. Alright, and verify. So once you're verified, you'll see it will upload your file to the internet, and you can see it going there. And then it will send a verification that you have completed your transfer and that we have received it. Now you can actually do the same exact process on a computer. It's just as easy. Let me show you. Here on the computer, it's the same exact process. So simply type in tflstudios.wetransfer.com and hit enter. And then here you'll see a little bubble that says add your files. So click on the file you want to add. Then plug in your email address, your personal email address, and a message. Once again, your name and your vehicle. So it'll ask you to verify your email again, and then you'll be ready to go. And we'll get your files a little bit quicker, it'll be a little bit easier. Well, thank you so much for contributing, and if you have any questions, email me, ask@tfltruck.com, and we'll help you through them.
As always, this is Intern Case with the Fast Lane Car. Be sure to go back to TFL Car, TFL Truck, and TFL Off-Road for more news, views, and real-world reviews. Thanks for watching, and stay safe.